So guys, people that are compressing the golf ball, let's have a look at these two positions. Let's take the time to have a look at some facts here. Look at Neal Corder, one of the best swings in world golf, on the left, and Adam Scott on the right. Okay, now the closer we get to these positions, the better you're going to hit it. Seriously, when we're looking at people around the world, there's millions and millions of people flipping it, not getting the angles, and not improving them as well, which is a shame. It's always good to work on the right information. We see Nelly moving down. We see players moving down in the backswing and then staying there. She moves down and then moves down again. And then gets into that impact position where we see, the shaft length 14 degrees. And we see Adam as well. We'll see him moving down and then moving down again. And we can see that some of the moves, some of the positions here, stuff that we're showing on worldclassgolf.com. Guys, let's get further into the video. Not a bad strike there, guys. Right, and we're going to be looking here at forcing some better angles, a better impact position, getting your shaft lean stop, standing up in it. Really got a video here that's going to help a lot of you understand how to get lag, angles, shaft lean, and just simply all-round better ball striking, guys. And what we're going to be looking at is shortening the distance from your head to the ball, actually getting lower down at impact than where you started at. Now, why do I say that? Right, now have a look at this. If I'm getting in a position, we know we need 12 degrees of shaft lean. We know we need shaft lean to press out a golf ball, right? Now, if I take my address position and I lean the hands forward, now you can see that the club head is in the air. I've shortened the radius of my action of my swing. Now, if I get down a little bit lower, I can hit it with the bent right arm. And when your arm's bent, it will hang on to angles. All right? If your arm's bent, if you're hitting with a bent right arm, you're going to hold your angles better. Think about it this way. Now, if I'm going to stand up to this golf ball here, around this position, my right arm's quite straight, it's just slightly flexed. But if I stay at that level, I have to really straighten my arm to reach the ball. And when you do that, it's extremely difficult to get any type of angle at all. What we've seen in the past, and in the modern day golf, we see it movement down. We've seen it with Hogan, we've seen it with all the great players. There's been either movement down in the backswing, all right, or we've seen movement down in the through swing. Like a Fleetwood would move down in the through swing, and we've seen players like Hogan move down and then down again. And we're seeing players like McIlroy also move down. I'm going to show you both of these moves. And I know that sometimes, from the comments underneath, that people are practicing, say, I hit it fat. But look, to become good at anything, you need to work on it, right? You might need to hit 50 balls here, and it might be around the 40th you start to get a bit of a feel for it. Because in time you can actually incorporate it, it's not so disruptive. Right? You can actually bring it into a bit of a thought, and you can start to move yourself down. When we know the PGA average is 3 inches, and we know they're moving down, and the closer you get to these positions in time, the better you're going to strike the ball. Now, if I hit a shot here, right, I'm just going to move my head down on the way down. You'll probably sort of see the head sink down. I'll exaggerate it a little bit here. All right, so moving down, I've got my head to sort of sink a little bit. Now that's a great way to really force in some lag angles, a little bit more divot. I'm hitting off some pretty compact ground here, but that had some good compression on it. Now what we're going to be doing, I'm going to show you a drill in a second, but what we're going to be doing now is forcing in the head movement down on the way back. All right, now this is a great way to steepen your shoulder plane as well, but just watch this, as when you try this you might hit it a little bit heavy, a bit of movement down. If I get a line on the top of my head, you'll see it move down and stay down, and then you have to explode back up. I really did hit that really powerfully. You'll find you'll hit the ball, this is something that I've been practicing, you'll find you hit the ball further doing this, when you're moving down and coming, feeling of down and then a little bit back up, you really start to grip and use the ground as leverage. You might like that feel. You might like the feeling of staying level and then down, but we need to get further down to get this shaft. Let's have a look at some wonderful ball strikers. Now, just by adding in a slight bit, I don't want everyone to get out there and drop their heads too much too quickly if you haven't done it, but if we're just getting in there and you're just feeling like you're sinking down a couple of centimeters, an inch perhaps, in that downswing, it's a great place to be. As we look at really, it's an essential part of the golf swing. Who's not doing it? So guys, right, the first thing that we're looking at here with this drill is to create separation so that we can get lateral shift and opening up, separation from your bottom half to your top half before we move on to some other exercises. We're going to have a look here at the right leg, the ankle work, the knee work, where we're seeing a lot of the amateur players really in a position where the right knee is quite high from the angle from the knee to the ankle into the high 70-degree area. And what I'm looking at doing is getting a little bit more lateral shift by getting the knee or the right knee to the golf ball, getting some separation. We're going to have a look at two little feels here. One of the drills you can simply do is get to the top and get your sequence right, get the timing right, is get to the top, and when you've got a finish line is get that right knee to the finish line before your hands do. And this is going to help you get yourself to open up. Now, I don't want the right knee kicking towards the ball. We want the right knee working towards the left. We're going to get that right foot to roll in a little bit like this. And this is a great way to get separation. That right leg, that right knee, getting that to move effectively frees up your entire swing. Now, to create some separation, what we're going to do, it's a great drill, get your palms to point away from you. Get your palms pointing down, and on the way back you're going to get your palms pointing away, leading with the knees, and get your palms pointing away. And in this position here, we're feeling like we're holding something actually heavy. And this will, for a lot of you out there, get that separation that you need and get your knee to the ball before your hands do. And this is going to help you cover, get some lateral shift, get ourselves opening up, getting a little bit of extension here, and that's going to help us really cover this golf ball. Let's get further on into the video. So guys, you know, when you're looking at getting lateral movement, there's different ways you can do it. As you can see, we're just pulling here with the band, one of my students forwards, just to create the feeling of getting, you know, half to 3/4 that left leg through the wall and preventing any lateral movement on the way back as well. Once we can start to imitate some of the moves and the practice swings, we can start to apply it when we're practicing. So it's very interesting that, you know, imitating what the great players are doing, they get closer and closer to these positions. So guys, for immediate improvement, the fastest way to improve your iron play, simple, clear, easy to understand. Let's get straight into it. Compression on the right, flipped on the left, or flipped at impact. Now I've drawn a line up from the side of the lead leg here, and you can see the differences, right? The compression, you know, the player is up against the wall. This is just someone that came to me for a lesson, and I was able to improve his ball striking just pretty much immediately. All right, so let's have a look here at what he does. He's got his set up more on the left side here, up against the wall. And, you know, getting through this wall is going to help your compression, shaft lean, ball ground, better contact, and less fat shots, thin shots. Have a look at this one on the left. Can you see the difference there? Right, and that's not complicated stuff, right? You just see that on this side, he's closer to the wall. So it's easier to get through that wall for the masses of the people out. It's still possible, of course, from the left, but it's harder. You know, we don't want to make it harder. So let's have a look what he does as he moves forwards, and he's moving through the wall, right? So we know from the last couple of clips, we know the averages of movement, the evidence-based instruction. We know that we have 4 to 6 inches of movement this direction on average, and we know, you know, getting half of that lead leg through the wall is going to help you hit it better, right? You're going to hit cleaner shots. So we've got around there 11 degrees of shaft length. You know, I mean, it's nice to know the facts, right? And then you're right inside those averages of movement. The closer you get, the better you hit. And you can see this one on the back here that it's just less shaft length. Well, we got like 3 degrees of shaft length. So the player on the right is going to be better, more consistent. You know, and these are some of the things that a lot of people just don't know that they're doing. And you know, you're going down there to practice and you're working hard, but you're not getting better. Working with evidence-based instruction, really important. I'm teaching people online all around the world. We've got Zoom calls, you've got your swing analysts, you know, we're talking about your swing. So if you want me to become your coach, have a look at worldclassgolf.com. And guys, you know, working with a plan and a purpose moving forwards, all right, let's